everybody. This is John Paval with the Access Arts Live weekly chamber music live stream action roundup for the week of February 16th to February 23rd, 2026. We are almost done with the first trimester. To Portland, Oregon, from San Francisco, California to the Ukraine. We've got two top pianists. We've got Boris Giltberg and Marc-André Hamelin. One of them for free. One of them will cost you something. You decide. And we've got trios and quartets from all over the place, from the West Coast US to London, and Korean and Chinese Lunar New Year celebrations going on. And I include that with chamber music because I don't know where else to put it. Suppose I could put it in with the big stage productions, which I'll be doing tomorrow, but I didn't. Before I go any further, let me remind you, if you like this kind of programming, do yourself a favor. All right, follow Access Arts Live on Facebook, YouTube, X, TikTok, Instagram, Threads, or LinkedIn, preferably the first two, and then you'll be sure to get more than 1,000 live links to live performances online this year. Performances of all kinds, chamber music, yes, but also orchestral music, operas, ballets, piano competitions, and organ live streams, because people love organ live streams. Let me fix the camera here just a little bit. It keeps cutting the top of my head off. Anyway, we're live streaming today on as far as I know, we have finally gotten TikTok integrated with our other live streams. So if you're watching on TikTok today, then you are able to see the photos that I'm going to be putting up. And do feel free to say hello if you're watching anywhere, so I know that you're out there, and I'll try to say hello back. Having said that, let us now plow into the long lineup of live streams, the first of which was already this afternoon, and you missed it. Unless you've been following Access Arts Live, and in that case, then you tuned in today at 3 o'clock in the afternoon European time, 9 o'clock on the East Coast, 6 in the morning on the West Coast, to hear the award-winning young Lithuanian pianist Kasparas Mikuzis playing Beethoven, Ravel, and Godofsky. But if you missed that, or if you didn't miss it, we then move on to a later concert, much later in the day, coming out of San Francisco. Tuesday, February 17th, a Fauré piano trio and a Schumann piano quartet will be played by the capable hands of the bridge players in Noontime Concert, San Francisco's weekly live stream. That's at noon in San Francisco, which makes it 3:30 in the afternoon on the East Coast and 9:30 in the evening here in Europe, 7:30 tomorrow morning, Wednesday morning down under in Australia on the West Coast or the East Coast. That will be the Fauré's piano trio, Opus 120, and Robert Schumann's piano quartet in E-flat major, Opus 47. We are living in an age when you can't just say Schumann, you have to say which Schumann. The bridge players are Amy Zanrosso, Randall Weiss, and Dmitry Yevstefeyev. Amy Zanrosso is a faculty member and a chamber music coach at the Pre-College Academy of the San Francisco Conservatory and at the Nueva School in Hillsborough, California. She's appeared as a soloist with some of the orchestras in California, like the Santa Rosa Symphony, the Symphony of the Redwoods, and others. Randall Weiss, the violinist, he's currently the assistant concert master of what maybe the newest symphony orchestra in the world, the Symphony Silicon Valley. He was formerly assistant concert master with the San Jose Symphony. That's what he does. He assistant concert masters when he's not just playing the violin. He's been the concert master of the Ames Orchestra in Graz, in Austria, among other places. And then Dmitry Yevstefeyev is a violist. And a dabbling composer, he describes himself as, who plays variously with the San Francisco Opera Orchestra and the Ballet Orchestra, studied viola at the Cleveland Institute, the Peabody Institute, and the Colburn School. And finally, the cellist is Victoria Ehrlich, a Texan who started out at Southern Methodist, then went to the Academy of Santa Cecilia in Rome, Italy, and then SUNY Stony Brook, and joined the San Francisco Opera Orchestra decades ago, and she served as a principal cellist with a number of other orchestras in Nebraska, in Virginia, and in Arizona. So there, tune in. Then we move on to Wednesday. Which picture of the Orchid Trio do I want to show you? I want to show you this one. This is the one when they're in action. Wednesday, February 18th, the Orchid Trio performs in the Old Church Portland's bi-weekly live stream series. That's violinist Se-Ying Ji, violist Deborah Schutzer, and cellist Quinn Liu. We don't know what they're going to be playing. Some of these outlets, they don't always provide us with the program in advance. Se-Ying Ji got her master's degree from Manhattan School of Music, and was a principal violinist with the New York International Orchestra. Also served as a concert master for them. Deborah Schuster is a Peabody Conservatory bachelor's, University of Colorado master's, played with a number of chamber groups, the Vento e Cordi Quartet in New York, the New York Pro Arte Chamber Orchestra, and she plays in various viola. She plays cello and viola in various chamber ensembles in the Portland and San Francisco Bay Area. And then the cellist, Quinn Liu, started out at Shanghai Conservatory and then finished up at got a master's at the University of Cincinnati Conservatory of Music. And she plays with groups like the Portland Columbia Symphony, Portland Cello Project, San Diego Symphony Orchestra, etc. Also on Wednesday comes one of the first of the top top pianist, very top level pianist on this week's program of live streams. Master pianist Marc-André Hamelin plays what New York Magazine is calling, quote, a glissando through centuries, unquote, program. Music from Haydn to Hamelin's friend, contemporary composer John Oswald. All this live streamed by 92NY. That will be 7:30 in the evening, New York time, 4:30 in the afternoon on the West Coast, 1:30 in the morning here in Europe, and 11:30 in the morning down under a Thursday morning in Australia. It's not free of charge. 92NY charges $25 per live stream, but they do have the highest quality live streams you can imagine. This recital has everything in it. He starts out with Haydn's Sonata in D major, which comes from a recent recording project that he's done of all of Haydn's sonatas. Okay, plays piece by Frank Zappa, and then Stefan Volpe's Passacaglia, which is a 12-tone work that you don't hear very often. And then he's playing a piece by this another Canadian. Hamelin is Canadian. I think he may originally be from Montreal. That's not Hamelin, really. It's Hamelin, but he lives down in Boston. Plays a lot, I think, though, with the Montreal Symphony, and he loves to go down under. I know I've seen him in concerts playing with OSESP, the Sao Paulo Orchestra. I think they have nicer weather down there. Anyway, Hamelin commissioned John Oswald to compose this piece, which involves quoting and juxtaposing pre-existing musical fragments. And Oswald explains it this way. In the ocean of music, this tip refers to tip of the iceberg. And then Oswald says, in the ocean of music, this iceberg is composed of my condensation of the most familiar music in the piano repertoire. What you hear in tip is the 10% that rises above the surface of that ocean, et cetera, et cetera. He goes on from that. A fun idea. Then he plays a couple of pieces by Nikolai Medtner, that Russian romantic composer who remained steadfastly a romantic composer well into the 20th century. And he'll finish off with Rachmaninoff's Etude Tableau, Opus 39, number 5, and with one of Hamelin's signature pieces, the Rachmaninoff's Piano Sonata number 2, Opus 36, in, we're told, the 1931 version. Wow, it's Marc-André Hamelin. If you really love piano, this is a great pianist to listen to. Okay, then I want to tell you about a series of 4 live streams coming out this week from the Millennium stage of what has been known as the Kennedy Center, and we are told now is the Trump Kennedy Center, although many people seem to be unhappy about that. But it is what it is, folks. And we report things as they are. So there are 4 live streams coming out of the Millennium stage, is how I'll refer to it too. Nobody seems to disagree with that characterization. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. I don't want to go over all 4 of them for you. First, the Millennium stage live streams the U.S. Air Force Band Woodwind Quintet, Wednesday, February 18th, playing music ranging from classical and jazz to Celtic and eclectic music on the flute, oboe, clarinet, French horn, and bassoon. That's at all 4 of these are at 6 in the evening, Eastern Standard Time, 3 in the afternoon on the West Coast, midnight here in Europe, and 10 o'clock the next morning down under in Australia. We are told that this band uses music to bridge cultural, linguistic, and socioeconomic differences to advance international relationships, among other things, which sounds like a good thing to do if you ask me. Then on Thursday, February 19th, the Millennium stage will be live streaming a program for the Korean New Year called Legacy of Light. This is a fusion ensemble called Korean Fever, which you see in the upper right-hand corner there in that photograph. The left-hand corner is of course the U.S. Air Force Band. And it brings together Korean classical music, Korean pop, Korean jazz, and traditional Korean performing arts. And it's co-sponsored by the Korean Cultural Center in Washington, D.C., and the Embassy of the Republic of Korea. Happy Korean Lunar New Year. Then next up, on Friday, February 20th, the Millennium stage is live streaming. It's a standing room only performance of musicians from the National Symphony Orchestra who will be playing a program of chamber works. But you can view it comfortably seated at home via their live stream. They usually do not tell us well in advance what's on the program, but the National Symphony Orchestra is a top symphony orchestra, and their musicians know what they're doing when they're playing chamber music. As I said, it's standing room only to get into that at the Millennium stage. And then finally, Saturday, February 21st, the Papalka Peruvian Dance School presents the history of the marinera, tracing its roots from its origin with the Zamacueca, the mother of the marinera, and showcasing its evolution across Peru's diverse regions, the coast, the highlands, the jungle, live streamed on the Millennium stage at 6 in the evening, your East Coast time. That's the usual time for these live streams. This is a program in collaboration with the Embassy of Peru, as the Kennedy Center Millennium stage, or what they're now calling the Trump Kennedy Center, has been wont to do. it's a showcase not only for American culture, but they also showcase the culture of various countries in collaboration with the local embassies. Papalka is a Peruvian dance school, and it was founded in 2004, so they've been around a couple of decades, must be doing something right. Its name comes from, Papalka comes from pañuelo, which means handkerchief, palma, which means a hand clapping, and cajon, which is an Afro-Peruvian drum. These are three powerful symbols of the Peruvian dance heritage. So that's what the Millennium Stage live streams have for you Wednesday through Saturday this week, a full week. Sometimes they have other stuff like jazz and pop music, which we don't tell you about because that's not on our list of things we tell you about. We talk to you about the things that we believe can use help in marketing and promotion, and pop music and jazz do not need any help. But while we're on the subject of the Lunar New Year, there's another Lunar New Year celebration going on, which you can also enjoy, which I think it's, let me double check to make sure whether it's Wednesday or Thursday. It's a Chinese New Year celebration. That's right. And that's also on Wednesday, an hour later than the Millennium Stage Korean New Year celebration on Wednesday. Anyway, you can celebrate the Chinese New Year Wednesday, February 18th, with the multidisciplinary artist Irene Hisao, the Guzheng player Menghua Guan, and the CCC Lion Dance Troupe and the Yin Hei Dance Troupe, live streamed by Constellation Chicago. That'll be at 7 in the evening, Chicago time, 8 o'clock on the East Coast, and what time? 2 o'clock in the morning here in Europe, if you want to stay up late to celebrate the New Year, and noon the next day, which will be Thursday morning or Thursday noon in Australia. This is a production of the Chinese Fine Arts Society and the Chinese American Museum of Chicago, which will feature traditional and contemporary Chinese dance performances, followed by a community dance party, but I don't think you'll be able to attend that in the live stream, but you can enjoy the performance. That's Constellation Chicago. They also have additional events this week that I'm going to tell you about in a separate live stream, because there's so much going on this week that I have to do a separate live stream for contemporary sorts of chamber music. We'll just never get through everything else within our usual half hour, plus talk about all of that. And there's more that I won't talk about. I'll tell you about everything I'm not telling you about at the end of this live stream. So we move on now to Thursday, when after all of this other stuff, we have an early music live stream for those of you who are early music fans, and we know you're out there. You're the people that tune into Midtown concerts every week on Thursday, as produced by the Gotham early music scene. French-American pianist Alissa Duryee performs On das Klavier, to the Clavier, a clavichord program of works by European masters and by those found in the notebooks of the Bethlehem Moravians of Pennsylvania. All this live streamed by the top people at Midtown concerts of the Gotham early music scene, Thursday, February 19th. I don't know if I'll be able to include the website for Alissa Duryee, but she has one. I encourage you to look it up because there's a lot more to know about her. She originally trained at the Manhattan School of Music Preparatory Division and then went to the École Normale de Musique in Paris, which is just a few metro stops away from where I live here. Anyway, and as she started out she built a fretted clavichord and then a French double harpsichord before she learned to play them. and study them. She did in 2020, she did a recording project, getting back to this Moravian thing, a recording project using a Meyerbeck clavichord from 1799, which had been conserved at the Moravian College in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, using music notebooks from the archives, notebooks which were contemporary to the time when they were using this clavichord actively. And she in 2023, she received the Joan Benson Prize from Early Music America in recognition of her clavichord project. So she's been an artist in residence at the Banff Center and at several music festivals for early music in France and North America. She's a composer. She's won prizes for her Suite for Harpsichord and for her Forager's Journal for clavichord. And she's also a professeur d'enseignement artistique, a professor of artistic teaching or learning at the Conservatory of the Aglo du Pays de Dreux in France. That's she's really got the French side down for a French American. Check it out. Midtown Concerts, quality stuff. Okay, then we move on to Friday. People, building harpsichords is a pretty amazing thing to do, if you ask me. Okay. All right. Now, Friday, February 20th, the Vera Music Fund, that patron of up-and-coming Ukrainian classical musicians, celebrates the 150th anniversary of the Ukrainian modernist composer Fedor Yakimenko with a live stream featuring pianist Oleksandr Oleynik. That'll be at 6 in the evening European time, noon on the East Coast, 9 in the morning on the West Coast. He'll be playing Jakub Stepovy's one of Jakub Stepovy's two preludes, Opus 12. It's one which Stepovy dedicated to Fedor Yakimenko. And then he'll play a series of pieces by Fedor Yakimenko. I could give you all the names, but I'm not sure it would mean a lot to you because he's not a well-known composer. He'll be playing a mazurka called Remembrance, which was dedicated to Mademoiselle Elagin, a fantasy that was dedicated to Claudia Semenovna Tralinia. This guy did a lot of dedicating, okay? But not only to women, Ukrainian paintings, 3 pieces from his Ukrainian paintings, composed in 1926, dedicated to Stéphane Chapelier, and a prelude dedicated to his brother. As for Oleksandr himself, he is a student since 2022 at the Ukrainian National Tchaikovsky Academy of Music in Kiev, and he's won some Ukrainian and international competitions for young pianists. Continuing on Friday, we have another ensemble, and this is to me a somewhat confusing numerically, but I'll give you the announcement, and as I do, you'll see what's odd about it numerically. The San Francisco Bay Area Ensemble Les Six, which means the 10, which is a 10 musicians group, sends 3 of these musicians, violinist Dr. Catalina Barazza, the cellist Dr. Katie Yoon, and the pianist Dr. Ihang Lin, to play Chopin, Jesse Montgomery, Handel, and Debussy Friday, February 20th. Live stream free of charge by Old First Concerts in San Francisco. So it's a 10 musician group, but they call themselves the 6, and it's 3 musicians out of the 10 who call themselves the 6 that are playing this. Anyway, I find that, I don't know why I find that so amusing, but I do. Forgive me, you guys, but I do. Anyway, they'll be playing some etudes by Frédéric Chopin, numbers 3, 4, and 5 from his Opus 10. They'll playing the contemporary Jessie Montgomery, who's been getting a lot of attention lately, her duo for violin and cello. They'll play a Handel Passacaglia, which was arranged by Halverson. And they'll play Claude Debussy's Piano Trio in G major, a very young Debussy. He wrote that when he was only 18 years old. This group, Les Six, the ensemble Les Six, was founded by Yi Hanglin in 2022. And we're told it's 10 Les Six, the six is 10 professional musicians and faculty members currently working at the San Francisco Opera Guild, the San Francisco Symphony, San Jose State, Santa Clara University, Stanford University, one of my alma maters, the lucky one, Kutztown University, and the San Francisco Conservatory of Music. They're dedicated to promoting chamber music and especially the works of female composers. And there you have it. Well, they've got Jessie Montgomery in there, so they do have one female composer. I think Jessie Montgomery's, yeah. Anyway, check it out. There's a suggested donation for that of $20, which you can get the link to when you go to the, I think it's a YouTube link. Yes. Many of these live streams welcome donations like that on their YouTube pages to give you. We don't always mention it because I have a limited amount of time, folks, but you should always keep it in mind because usually that's money which goes to the artist and boy, God bless them, the artist. The work that musicians put in is just incredible. I mean, I'm a performing artist, actor, lyric tenor, sort of in semi-retired by this point in my life. But, you know, the musicians, it's 6 hours a day of rehearsing every day. I mean, it just never ends. Okay, we move on to Sunday. We'll just barely get in under the 30 minutes. St. Mary's Perivale welcomes back the award-winning young AEDT Piano Trio to play Lily Boulanger and the Mendelssohn Piano Trio this Sunday, February 22nd. That's at the usual St. Mary's Perivale time of 4 in the afternoon. European time, 10 o'clock on the East Coast in the morning, 7 o'clock your Sunday morning on the West Coast. They played at St. Mary's last November, and they've been playing this Mendelssohn Piano Trio in other places because as I was looking them up, I saw appearances where they did that. They'll be playing two pieces by Lily Boulanger, D'un Matin du Printemps, a spring morning that everybody played last year. I mean, chamber groups and orchestras, everybody played that. And then Boulanger's is like a companion piece, D'un Soir Triste, on a sad evening, so morning and evening. And then Mendelssohn's Piano Trio in D minor. The AEDT or AEDT Piano Trio, I am not sure which way to pronounce it, folks, because there's no double dots over the I. Anyways, Esther Zaglia on violin, Clélia Lebret on the cello, and Sofia Medina on the piano. They were winners of the first prize at the Simca competition in Armuero, Spain. They've been around since 2022. They're all graduates of the Royal College of Music in London, and they performed at a number of festivals around Europe. Currently, they're studying at the Stauffer Academy in Cremona. And then we have one more live stream to tell you about before I conclude. It's another really top pianist live stream, though. I mean, this is, if you love piano, this is another one that you can tune into, and this one is free of charge, unlike the $25 that you have to shell out to see Marc-André Hamelin on 92NY earlier in the week. Sunday, February 22nd, top pianist Boris Giltberg returns to the top concert venue, Wigmore Hall in London, to play book one of the top composer Johann Sebastian Bach's Well-Tempered Clavier. That's at 9 o'clock in the evening, European time, 3 o'clock in the afternoon in New York, noon in Los Angeles, and 7 o'clock in the morning down under in Australia. It's a sold-out concert where people are paying up to £40 to hear what you get free of charge. This guy is such Boris Giltberg is such an impressive pianist. He played all the Beethoven sonatas at Wigmore last year, this was this was a follow-up to filming all of 32 of the Beethoven sonatas, something he started doing in 2020 during the COVID lockdowns. And he also recently recorded all of the Beethoven concertos with Vasily Petrenko and the Royal Liverpool Philharmonic Orchestra. And he appeared in a BBC TV series about being Beethoven. He's a top guy. I haven't found as much about him and Bach, so this is interesting. But I shouldn't say it, but if you can play Beethoven, you should be able to play Bach. Anyway, check that out. It's free of charge. Now, listen, what have I left out? What have I left out, my friends? I've left out such great stuff that I could not fit into this concert. So I just wanted to take briefly an extra minute now that we're at the end of our half hour's time together, which is all I allow myself in these live streams, because I don't want to listen to myself for more than a half hour. I've left out a 5-day Bach festival, which in Madrid, which is being live streamed by March Vivo, starting Wednesday, February, what is that? February 18th, and going all the way through until the 25th. And the goal is to perform all of the solo works composed by Johann Sebastian Bach. You Bach lovers, I have to do a separate live stream presentation. There's no way I could squeeze it in here and do it any justice. I've left out a half dozen contemporary classical music concerts from New Music Chicago, from Constellation Chicago, from Vox Novus that are going on this week and this weekend, because we're at 30 minutes already and there wasn't time. So I'll have to do a separate live stream about that too. And I will be back tomorrow at 6 or 7 in the evening European time, noon or 1 o'clock on the East Coast, 10 or 11 on the West Coast, with the roundup of this week's orchestral and operatic works. And we have another opera coming in this week from Opera Streaming in Italy, that wonderful group of a half a dozen Italian opera houses that live stream full-length performances free of charge. I haven't checked yet to see if we have something from Vienna State Opera, but there's one coming along the pipe too. So there's a lot going on, folks. I have to cut this off now. Thank you so much for tuning in. Those of you who did tune in, even though you didn't say hello to me on the chat, or if you did, Restream did not pick up. You're saying hello to me on the chat. In case you did, I'm saying hello back to you. Thanking you so much for tuning in. Reminding you, if you like this kind of programming, follow and or subscribe to Access Arts Live on Facebook, YouTube, X, TikTok, Instagram, Threads, or LinkedIn, and we'll make sure you get hours and hours, thousands of hours of live programming of this kind in the coming year. So I'll say ciao for now, and I'll be back with all this other stuff.